Everybody, welcome back to Wicked Sports. This is a clip for the podcast Swinging at Shins. We're covering the World Cup in depth, and we're going to give a little preview of who we think will win the World Cup. And when I say we, I mean my esteemed guests, Rhett Conaway and Aaron Slater. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Doing great, Brian.
Doing delightful.
Yeah, we should work that first. It's fun. It happens. It happens. The same thing happens when I cover the NBA with Ryan and Jack, and I'm just like, how's it going, guys? And neither of them know which to start with. We'll get it figured out. We're working out the kinks, as it were. But we on the Swinging at Shins podcast channel and on podcast services did a in-depth coverage of the World Cup. And again, when I say we, it's the royal we and really these guys right there. So they broke down all the groups, and this is where they're going to talk about who they think is going to win the actual knockout stage of the tournament. But we won't leave you hanging because that'd be a little confusing. We're going to go over the groups real quick. All right, I'm going to go Rhett first, Aaron second for each group. Rhett, who you got coming out of Group A?
Group A, I think's pretty easy. Netherlands are going to win it, and almost assuredly Senegal, although Ecuador could be in a shout for second. Qatar definitely last. Qatar definitely no wins. Qatar maybe definitely no goals.
Oh, wow. Okay. Aaron, do you agree with that?
I do. Pretty straightforward. This group is. It's as we discussed before, a fluff group.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is a fluff group.
All right, so moving on from the fluff group to the group that we're going to be paying close attention to, of course, being Americans. Group B. Rhett, who you got?
England, I think, unless England implodes, which is not impossible, England's going to get the win, and it's a three-way fight for second. My heart tells me America will win it. My head tells me it's not that simple. I think Wales could be in with a decent shout.
All right, Aaron, what are your thoughts?
I'm also thinking England's probably going to be on top. If they aren't, it's because United States beats them. That's kind of what it comes down to, and I think we'll get away with a win with Iran, and we could see a draw against Wales, but I'm feeling a win as well. But we're probably going to come away with 6 points in this group, and it's going to be England, United States, Wales, Iran.
All right, Group C, Rhett, who you got?
Argentina. Argentina's going to win this group easily. I think that there might be some people who argue over the other three, but I think it's going to go Argentina, Mexico, Poland, and Saudi Arabia. I think Saudi Arabia is another one of those teams that could really, really struggle to get any kind of points.
All right, Aaron, your opinion?
Yeah, Argentina is going to dominate this group. Personally, I think they're going to dominate a lot of teams in this tournament. I also think Mexico is going to be able to sneak out of the group here. I don't think Poland has a really bad track record with tournament plays and everything, so I don't see them really changing that narrative any. And then Saudi Arabia is last.
All right, Group D, Rhett, who you think's coming out of there?
France and Denmark, and it's going to be one of them, 1-2. The conventional wisdom says France. France is coming off of a World Cup win. The last two times, Germany and then Spain crashed out in their group stages, even though they weren't supposed to. France is full of egos and the whole 9 yards. I still think they're going to get it under control. I think that Tunisia is hopefully going to beat Australia, and I think Australia is just going to be happy to be here.
All right, Aaron, do you concur?
Moi. France should be on top unless they have a championship hangover. Denmark is definitely going to be second, if not top. Tunisia probably will be third, and Australia will be drinking beers out on the sand.
Hey, it happens to the best of us, Australia. Group E, Rhett, who you got?
So you may not be familiar with this term, but Group E is our group of death.
Okay.
There's a lot of good teams in here.
Yeah.
Spain and Germany should be 1-2. It depends on, and again, I feel about them the way I feel about France and Denmark. It could go either way. Both of them are really going to struggle to score goals. Costa Rica has a wonderful track record in the World Cup, and Japan has a really, really good team. That being said, Japan is my dark horse team to not do anything. They very well may not win. For as good as the team they have, this is a very strong group. But I think Germany and Spain get out of it.
All right, Aaron, same thing.
I'm thinking Spain and Germany as well. I actually think opposite, where Japan, if Germany or Spain happen to poop the bed here, that Japan actually could squeak in to the knockout stages here. It's one of those weird gut feelings. I liked, the players and the discipline that they have with their team here, but it's still on paper should be Spain and Germany.
Awesome. All right, Group F, Rhett, who do you think?
So Group F is where I'm going to remind everyone about the in-depth podcast that they should look for, because there was a lot of discussion about Group F. I think it's incredibly simple. I think Belgium and Croatia, either one could win it, but whoever doesn't win it is going to get second, and Morocco and Canada are going to be nowhere near them. But Aaron has some different thoughts.
Aaron.
I'm actually thinking Belgium and Canada.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying Croatia doesn't have a shot, because they are a very well experienced team and they have Luka Modric, who's an absolute monster. But
and Perisic.
And I'm not
and Kovacic.
Nope.
And Brozovic.
Kovacic can play 60 minutes and that's it. Then you got to sub him off. Anyway, Canada,
brief little highlight of the podcast.
Link in the description for the full conversation there.
But yeah, Belgium, Canada, Croatia, Morocco.
All right. Group G.
Brazil's going to run away with it. In fact, if there's a bet for team most likely to have 9 points after the group stages, Brazil is the smart money. I don't think any of the teams are going to become close to Brazil. I think the second team is going to be Switzerland. I think Switzerland has a good team, aging, but very good base to their team. Then Serbia, and Cameroon hasn't won a World Cup match since 2002, and I don't think that that's going to change.
Aaron, your thoughts?
I might go place that bet now, because I'm also thinking Brazil is probably a 9-pointer. Switzerland is most likely the only team that I possibly could see them, hanging around is Serbia, because they do actually have some quality players on that team that I had to stop and pause and look at. And then Cameroon is going to be in the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, to speak really quickly on Serbia, something I forgot to say in the podcast. I think Serbia is where Switzerland was 10 years ago. So we could see them be very good in 2026, but I don't see them in this World Cup.
All right. And finally, Group H. Rhett, who you got?
Portugal, I think, runs away with it. And Uruguay chases after them as quickly as they can. And then it's going to surprise some people, because Ghana's done very well the past couple of World Cups, but I think South Korea comes third. Ghana has a really, really young team. They're in the middle of a transition period. I don't really expect them to do anything.
Aaron, your thoughts?
I think Portugal as well, as long as they can handle Cristiano Ronaldo and his massive ego, one team ego. Then Uruguay and South Korea and Ghana.
All right. So if you want more in-depth coverage of these groups, Rhett and Aaron have you covered on the Swinging at Shins podcast. The links to the description. The links are going to be in the description down below. That's going to be on podcast services and its own channel. So check that out. If you like it, maybe stick around, because after the World Cup, they're going to be covering the Premier League in depth, in addition to what they do on this channel. We got them working real hard over here. All right, let's move on to the knockout stage.
All right, Aaron, I have yours up first because I'm the one who built the presentation. I get to do that.
So, that's nice of you.
Run me through it. Let's start with the gigantic elephant in the top here.
Which top? You mean the top right where it says United States beats Netherlands?
Yes. That's the one that I'm talking and everyone else is talking about.
Oh, okay. somehow we get a PK in the 89th minute, and somehow we held the Netherlands to nothing. And Pulisic says, "America, I got you on my back," and puts in a goal. That's how that's done.
Man, you have wonderful dreams.
Thanks.
You have absolutely wonderful dreams.
I appreciate it.
It is exactly what I think. I think that the only way the U.S. advances to the quarterfinals is if we win the group and face Senegal. Because if we lose a group and we face the Netherlands, well, not lose a group, but go second, face the Netherlands, that's it. We're done right there. Boop, done. Anyway, Argentina and Denmark, no surprises there.
Yeah, I mean, I got a bet out on Argentina right now. So.
Germany and Canada, you come back to Earth on Canada. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they can only go so far.
Brazil and Uruguay, that'd be a nice little rivalry match between them. Border countries.
Yep, I think, and that's where that's going to come down to is Argentina and Brazil, but we'll get to that in a moment.
Yep, England, Senegal, again, no surprise if the English manage to lose to Senegal.
Yeah, that'd be wild. If Mane's healthy, I mean, if
that's a big if
on crutches, how fast do you think Mane can run on crutches?
Still faster than me. If I want to get to your next one, France and Mexico. And only because you're picking the smart money, and I agree with you. But I want to highlight it because the France-Mexico game is a game that a lot of people think is going to get played, and a game that a lot of people think France could falter in.
I think if they falter, it's because they get pressed so high from Mexico because they love doing that high press. And they're one of the few teams we'll see, which we talked about in the last podcast, about them pressing so high. Man, I just don't. It could happen. It could happen. It's the World Cup. Anything could happen, which is why Canada's going to the round of 16. But and the United States are going to
another highlight for the podcast. Yeah, another highlight for the podcast. Aaron and I have a 10-ounce bottle of maple syrup bet going. One of us is going to have to chug it no matter what happens. So we'll make sure we do that on the air.
All right. That anyway, hopefully that's okay. Hopefully neither of you get too sick from that.
Moving on to the next. I'm actually surprised by this. You have Spain beating Belgium?
Yeah, well, as good as Belgium is, Spain's a whole lot better.
Okay.
De Bruyne can only do so much, and if Lukaku's healthy, it's definitely a better situation to be in. But their defense is old, Belgium. Your goalkeeper can only keep you so far, keep you in the game so far, and Spain's only really. Not only defect, I think, is their goalkeeper personally. There's kind of a shroud of mystery on the reasons why they picked him, but I think Spain's
got them going to the semis. So
I do. I think that Portugal somehow explodes because Ronaldo, his ego explodes.
Okay. So I want to touch on two other games before we get to the semifinals. France, England. How close do you think that game's going to be?
2-1.
All right, and
France 2-1 France. Obviously,
rematch of the infamous 7-1 victory for the Germans in 2014, Brazil Germany. You think Brazil gets some revenge?
I hope that for the country's sake they do, because they might burn down the country if Germany does it again.
They didn't burn down the country. Germany did that in Brazil. I think that's one of the things that people don't realize. That match was played in Brazil.
Yeah. So I think that one of the lasting images of the World Cup is that man crying, holding a fake trophy.
Yeah.
That's at least seared into my memory as a casual soccer fan. Just an absolute massacre.
That's sad.
Insane.
All right. So real quick, France going back to the finals against Argentina and Argentina winning.
As long as France has, doesn't have their hangover. And, if they do, then the field's open personally. But I still think Argentina's gonna. I think Argentina and Emi Martinez will finally get Lionel Messi his World Cup.
Yeah, everyone wants to get Messi a World Cup. No one cares about Ronaldo getting a World Cup.
Yeah, he cries too much.
Anyway, Brian, I wanna see something. I'm gonna go to my picks, and I want to see if you can spot the differences.
Okay.
You
Let's
ready?
go.
Some of these things not like the.
A little different. So you have Spain.
Mm-hmm.
What's your rationale there? Why is Spain? Well, one, Spain's getting knocked out. Was it in the first round of Aaron's?
No, Spain got
Goodness.
to the semis. Our
Okay.
difference is who Spain plays in the semis, and then
Yep.
whether or not they make it.
Mm.
I think that Luis Enrique is a really, really good coach, and I think that Spain has a lot of very young talent. I think that Spain's biggest problem is going to be who's going to score goals, but I think they're going to figure it out. I also think that England's going to be able to beat France. I think that England has that kind of just. Don't get me wrong, they're going to disappoint people, but I think that they disappoint people later in tournaments now. That's what we're seeing. They got to the semis in 2018. They got to the finals in Euro. They're going to disappoint in the semis again, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I also have Brazil beating Germany.
Mm-hmm.
I think, though, that this is a tale of two sides of the bracket. I think that the right side of the bracket is much stronger than the left side of the bracket. And I think that your World Cup winner is going to be decided in the Argentina-Brazil semifinal.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever wins that match, and it's a coin flip for me. I went with Argentina just because I think maybe Messi can be the difference. But we just went over the Brazil team again. I almost went back and changed my bracket and put it back in because they're just that good. It's a coin flip for me. I think whoever wins the semifinals wins the World Cup, and the left side of the bracket doesn't matter.
I know I've said that goalkeepers can only do so much. I think this comes down to goalkeepers. Do you think this will go into shootouts?
No.
No.
I think I would not be surprised if it was extra time.
No.
And of course, that's the other thing. So in the build up to every World Cup final, there's penalties. There's always penalties. I mean, the Netherlands was penalties after penalties. Croatia had penalties.
Croatia had penalties in the semis and in the finals. That team played
not the finals. They had it in the quarters and the semis.
They played some of the long. They were the trying to get this out. The team that played the most minutes in that tournament.
And I do think that it played a big part in their loss.
Oh, for sure.
That's how many minutes they played. Brazil, Argentina, you know what? Maybe. And if it does, then I don't know. Maybe that's why, because Martinez is probably the better goalkeeper, and he's definitely going to be the better goalkeeper with penalties. That being said, no, because he's not, because I don't think he's better than Alisson. These teams are so close, man. I cannot wait. One of the things I'm most sure about is that Brazil and Argentina are going to meet in the semis, and I cannot wait for that match. I'm already that excited for a semifinal match, and just because I think they're going to be who's in it, and it's going to be fireworks. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing.
We're going to be so sad at the finals how good this semi is going to be.
Yeah. It's going to be like all those years where the AFC Championship game just kind of decided who won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, who's going to be the Patriots or whichever team could get into the AFC Championship game.
Hey, are we going to lose to Brady or Manning?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those were the days. But
I have Croatia getting into the round of the knockout stages.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to probably face Germany, and I think that'll be it. One thing I do want to know, if Belgium beats Spain in their knockout stages, I could see the Belgians making a run. I would have had the Belgians a lot deeper if they didn't face Spain right away.
I think it'd be an S show at that point, because then Portugal has the opportunity, and let's say in this particular bracket, England faces Belgium in that scenario. I don't know, maybe England could possibly go to the finals at that rate.
Exactly. And that's why I'm saying it's a two-sided bracket. You look at I have England in the semis. I don't think England's going to win this World Cup. I don't think England even necessarily deserves to be in the semis. I don't think they're top four. But look at who they're facing. They'll probably be facing a Senegal team.
Yeah.
or a worse team.
Yeah.
And then they're going to face the winner of France versus Mexico, which could be a toss-up. And France is very strong on paper. They had a very disappointing Euros. You look at the history of World Cup hangovers. England, I think, has a very easy road to the semifinals.
Yeah. I can
And
see
England
that.
could very well be in the finals because they have better goal scorers than Spain and Portugal.
I mean, I don't disagree with that at all. It's a very
I hate watching them, but Harry Kane scores goals.
yeah.
Bukayo Saka is very good at scoring goals. Sterling, Foden, they could do very well. But either way, it doesn't matter. Winner's going to be Argentina or Brazil.
Do you think Jack Grealish is going to see the field?
Yes.
Sub in.
When they play, Wales at the end and it's all over. Oh man, I was going to say something that just decided. Oh, anyway, I alluded to this in the podcast. I honestly think it's 33% Argentina, 33% Brazil, and 33% the rest of the field. Someone gets hot. Croatia could get hot again. No one expected them. Belgium could get hot again. I don't think Portugal has the depth. I know they won Euros recently in 2016. I don't think they have the depth anymore. I really think it's going to be one of those two.
Yep.
And I'm picking the United States to win the World Cup. Not an especially patriotic guy normally, but anytime there's a sporting event where the U.S. plays, I'm all in. So, shocking! They're going to shock the world.
They're 13,000 plus 13,000 odds. So
yeah,
put your bet in. If
Even
and
a
11% of the
11%
of bettors have bet the United States to win the World Cup
because we have a gambling problem.
All right, hey, draft.
You and I have
you want to sponsor FanDuel.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by anybody yet. And
yet.
Anyway, speaking of bets, Aaron and I have a bet that if the U.S. manages to beat the Netherlands, I have to buy him a jersey of whatever he wants, and I am not saving any money because it's not going to happen.
So there's a lot riding on this. So anything else you guys wanted to mention before we get on out of here?
This is our new podcast going forward at Swinging at Shins. We're going to be talking a lot about the Premier League. Aaron already has a phenomenal show on Wicked Good Sports called the Villa. I have been trying my best on another Wicked Good Sports show called the Way West Stand. And
also a phenomenal show. Don't sell yourself.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Anyway, we decided that we were going to just talk more Premier League stuff. So as soon as the Premier League's back on Boxing Day, which for all the Americans that don't know what Boxing Day is, it's a holy day for us because everyone plays the day after Christmas. And it is phenomenal. So also when the World Cup starts, we're planning on doing a quick little podcast, I think every 2 days. We'll see how well we can hold to that. It's just going to be Aaron and I, Brian when he can, just quick podcasts every 2 days, going over results and what we think it means going forward.
Awesome. All right. And for those just listening to this, the Swingin Shins is SWINGIN apostrophe. There's no G. It's not swinging. It's swinging at Shins. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the logo. It's been on the screen the whole time. But I'm also going to have the link in the descriptions if you don't want to type anything out. If that's too complicated, I understand. You can click there. Thank you so much for checking this out. You can follow us on Twitter at WickedGoodSport or WG Everything, Instagram Wicked Everything, Twitch at twitch.tv/WickedGoodEverything, and on TikTok, search Wicked Sports, search Wicked Good Everything. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
We'll see you all in the next one.